Everybody. It's Coach Brad here. Just thought I'd take a few minutes out of the day. First, just wanted to say hi. I just came back from another wellness session, and I just thought I would jump online real quick and talk a little bit more about this rule I mentioned before in my last one of my podcast episodes and my last session when I went live. This idea that movement is key to optimizing health, optimizing weight off permanently. But how do you do that? How do you adhere to this of minimum 2 times per day of movement? And that's what I wanted to talk with you a bit about today. Yes, for me, my life, my situation, I have this rule that every day, at least 2 times per day, do some sort of movement or even wellness. I use the word wellness or movement now as opposed to the word exercise. That movement I talked about before can come in many different forms: kayaking, stand-up paddleboarding, riding your bike, walking, pickleball. I had a friend said that she likes to play pickleball, so that's a really good one also. Underneath all of that is a bigger picture to all of this. And how do I stay motivated? How do you get motivated to get up off the couch and to not only start some sort of health program, wellness program? It's not about starting it, but it's more about continuing it. How do you do it day after day, week after week? How have I been able to keep at this for 13 years? What's been one of the key ingredients to being able to keep the weight off for 13 years? So I just kind of wanted to touch on that a little bit today. And it essentially boils down to this idea of having higher meaning and purpose. And having that higher meaning and purpose, for me personally, is what gets me off the couch in the morning. It's what gets me to do sessions at least 2 times a day. There's some days where I only do one, but I'll do one 15-minute session. There's some days where I'll do 5 or 6 sessions, but again, they're just like 5, maybe 10 minutes each, but a little bit over time. Again, multiple shorter sessions throughout the day are better than one longer session. We're seeing that more and more in the research. But it's this idea of having a higher meaning and purpose. I'll give you an idea of what I mean by that. Let me share just a quick story with you, a quick example. I always like to ask this question. If you're watching this right now and if you're listening, and I don't even have my glasses on, so I can't even tell if anyone is watching or not, but that's all right. If I were to ask you a question, I'm standing in front of an audience, I like to ask this question. If you were to run a race tomorrow, let's say I challenge you to run a 100-mile race tomorrow with no training, no experience, nothing like that, how many of you think that you could do that? When I ask that question, virtually no hand goes up. However, when I reframe that question, I ask it this way. I ask, how many of you think that you could tomorrow run a 100-mile race with no training, no experience, nothing like that, if you knew that at the end of that race, that all forms of cancer would be cured, like cured forever, cured permanently, like a permanent cure for cancer. No one would ever get cancer again, not any type, nothing. It would be wiped off the face of the earth forever. Now, when I ask it the question that way, not every hand goes up, admittedly, but the vast majority of the hands in the audience will go up. And even some will say, well, I probably couldn't do it, but I would at least try. Now, what's the difference between the way I asked the first question and the way I asked the second question? You're still running 100 miles either way. But the difference between the first one and the second one is that higher meaning and purpose. They've got a real strong, not just any meaning and purpose, but a very strong meaning and purpose. This ability to, hey, all forms of cancer are going to be cured. Now, there's even a little catch to having that, because that's still an external reason. That's still an external motivator. And ultimately, the highest, most powerful motivator will come from within. It's an internal motivator. But I did just want to mention that. What will get you off the couch every day, what will get you started with this, is having that solid reason, that meaning and purpose that really drives you, really motivates you, really excites you. You're welcome to listen to my story, my first podcast episode. Check out the Be Well, Be Safe, Be Happy, Eat Ice Cream podcast. The very first episode, I talk about that higher meaning and purpose that I found for my life. In my book, Mind Strong, which you can order from my website, trainingwithcoachbrad.com, I also talk about that higher meaning and purpose. So regardless of where you're at today, I would just say this. It is possible to start. I don't care if you're 1,000 pounds overweight. I don't care if you don't know how to walk. None of that matters. What matters is you have the ability to get started. And getting started and staying started, what will drive that is understanding that higher meaning and purpose. And so if you really want to find your higher meaning and purpose, and admittedly, there's a lot of meaning and purposes out there. I've heard a bunch of them. Oh, I want to fit into a certain size pair of jeans. I want to fit into a certain dress. I want to have more energy to play with my grandkids. All these are great. But if 5 years later you're still struggling with this journey, then you haven't quite found that deep enough meaning and purpose. So you want to find that really deep, resonant meaning and purpose that really resonates with you. I have a book out, or a guide, a training manual coming out very soon. It's called How to Keep Weight Off Permanently. I talk about this, and I also have another one coming out called From Couch to Health, how to optimize your health and energy and live a life of love, health, and happiness. But I talk about this idea of finding your higher meaning and purpose, and the 5 levels of why exercise. So if you are interested in any of those, yeah, you can definitely reach out to me. I'd just love to chat with you and just talk all things health and wellness. Even if you just want to have a chat, we don't even have to dive into coaching or anything like that. I just love to talk about this stuff. If you got something going on, I would absolutely love to hear from you. I've got a ton of this stuff on my podcast also, so be sure and check out my podcast wherever you do listen to podcasts. Be well, be safe, be happy, eat ice cream. And that's 100% free to listen to, all of that good stuff. But anyway, the point being that, you definitely want to understand this having a higher meaning and purpose. And that is what's going to propel you off the couch and keep you sustained for the long run. And so it's just a matter, and the way you find that meaning and purpose, you can set an external one, but have a very, very strong one. Like, curing cancer is a lot stronger than, just running a race, for example. But ultimately, you want to look inside and find that higher meaning and purpose. Why am I doing this? Why do I want to be healthy? All of that stuff. So good luck with that. And again, anything I can do to help you, support you, feel free to reach out to me at any time at trainingwithcoachbrad.com. And you can also, want to say real quick, trainingwithcoachbrad.com, you can download. It's completely free, your free guide. It's got tons of good information. It's called 6 Elements to Keep Weight Off Permanently. Very first element, I talk about this idea of having a higher meaning and purpose. Go there, download it. Free. But anyway, thanks for listening, thanks for being here. Just wanted to jump on, say hi. I'm going to jump off now. Again, wherever you are in the world, be well, be safe, be happy. Take care, everyone. Thank you.